It's been a while since our last video. A lot has changed since then, and a year ago we suspended our work on Status 1 in favor of a mobile game called FlickUp, which is available on Play Store, link in the description. We wanted to try our hand at a different platform, something new and fresh. After releasing the game, it was time to return to Status 1, but it wasn't as easy as we thought. The 4-month break took toll, and we take a longer break and work on some small side project. It wasn't until November, thanks to the experience we gained, that we decided to return to Status 1, but in 3D. We wanted to transfer the game mechanics and concept to a new project. It brought new challenges, new possibilities, excitement, and of course, a lot of problems that the 2D world did not have. Status 1 is inspired by tactical games such as SWAT or Door Kickers, as well as Hotline Miami. We wanted to create a top-down tactical game where the main difference is that we command everyone at once while participating in the action as playable character. We develop our team and perform increasingly difficult tasks. We started working on this idea back in high school in 2D form. I have to admit that we have learned a lot since then, both in terms of code, style and simple control convenience. Models were our first headache. None of us knew 3D modeling, so we had to learn it from scratch. The beginnings were terrible, but over time we got the hang of it. The first model was human only in file name, and then we started playing with sculpting, but let's leave that without comment. Eventually we were satisfied with the initial model, but it wasn't quite right, so after many hours and prayers to the god of UV mapping, we were finally happy with the results. With 3D models, we can get more out of them than sprites. They make working on animation easier and are modular, which means that choosing equipment during the preparation phase will no longer be just a static on paper, but a visible element of character equipment in-game. This allows players to feel more engaged in the game world, and we can better depict characters and environment. The 3D world also offers us a character rigging. Thanks to it, characters' movement looks much more natural and fluid. In 2D, every new action or weapon meant drawing dozens of frames of animation, which was a daunting task and slowed down the project development. Now, even though we started from scratch, we have more ready-made animation now than during the entire 2D project. Only the specific point of which the model of the chosen weapon is placed is animated. There are 3 stances: pistol, SMG and rifle. Only these 3 root animations are enough to animate practically any weapon we can imagine. Another new thing are ragdolls. Thanks to them, there is no longer need to create death animations. Using the transform array of each bone when the opponent dies, we can determine the position of each limb that give us infinite pool of death animations, and create the impression that the character actually reacts to damage and the environment.
We spent a long time considering the graphic style. For 2D, it was obvious that we would use the hand-drawn style with outlines. But in 3D, our options with graphic design were open. We tested tuned shaders and outlines, but ultimately we decided to try texture design. Moving to 3D also allowed us to improve the shooting mechanics. Now, bullets not only travel horizontally but also vertically. The bullet itself is not physical but calculated using raycasts, so we didn't have to worry about collision problems at high velocity, and that was a big issue in our old project. A new mechanic is a bullet penetration, which in the future will allow shooting through the thin and fragile objects such as glass or wooden doors. To achieve the best shooting feeling, we combined 3 things: camera shake, muzzle flash and visual effects. The only thing that's left to do is the weapon sounds, but we are still working on it. Implementing the field of view was definitely more difficult compared to old project. To achieve this effect, we had to render the image outside of FOV separately from the one inside, and then combine them into one. We used several cameras layered on top of each other, so the lights and shadows are rendered only within the field of view. We decided to implement this visual concept to mark the boundary between the visible and non-visible area. That's all for now. We plan to post more devlogs in the future. If you want to learn more about our game, we invite you to follow us on Twitter, where we post the screenshots of our progress. Bye.